Welcome to Sideways Look, the podcast where we examine public policy hiding in plain sight and explore the unexpected ripple effects. I am your host, Dr. Paul. What does a controversial bill in Brazil have to do with your wallet in the US? This is a question. In this episode, we trace the ripple effects of the Amazon deforestation on global trade, climate stability, and the American economy, and expose who stands to gain and who lose big. Today's question begs, how does a bill in Brazil, one that deregulates environmental protections deep in the Amazon, affects your job, your grocery bill, or even your insurance premiums here in the United States? That's what we're unpacking. Let's look sideways. Earlier this month, Brazil's Congress passed a sweeping environmental deregulation bill. It's been hailed by some as a modernization of the country's permitting system. What does that mean? It means fewer environmental reviews, faster licenses, and yes, more roads, more cattle, or more mining in the Amazon. President Lula is under extreme pressure to sign this massive bill, despite running on an environmentalist platform. But what does that have to do with us? Actually, quite a lot. Here's a simple example. Soybeans. You see, the US and Brazil are neck and neck as the world's top soybean exporters. Less environmental restrictions for Brazil. They can clear land faster and produce more and cheaper soybeans. Sounds like great business, right? Well, not for American farmers. Oh no. They're already dealing with high input costs and unpredictability weather. So, if Brazilian soy floods the market at a lower price, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to undercut US exports, particularly from places like Iowa, Nebraska, and Illinois. This is the result. The US GDP in the heartland will likely, most likely, take a hard hit. Another example of items we use daily, such as beef, timber, and iron, even ore. And it will likely reshape global pricing and punish US producers. But it doesn't stop with a price tag, folks, because major US corporations sourced from Brazil, like Cargill, Starbucks, and JBS, just to name a few. In those supply chains are tied to, if those supply chains are tied to illegal deforestation or the intentional removal of trees from large areas of forest, these companies risk consumer backlash, boycotts, and regulatory fines. That is to be expected. So, who pays for that? Is it the investors, the employees, consumers? In other words, you. And here's where it gets murkier. Many of these companies are publicly traded. So if Wall Street loses confidence in their clean sourcing claims, their stocks drop, it dips, it goes down. Portfolios will take a hit. Pension funds wobble. It's climate policy by market panic. Now, let's zoom out. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the earth. We all know this, absorbing billions of tons of carbon dioxide. So, if deforestation escalates, these lungs likely will collapse. And that means more heat waves, more floods, more crop failures. So, guess who pays for that? Agencies like FEMA. So, your homeowner's insurance likely will take a hit. Your local government rebuilding roads, bridges. In 2023, climate disaster cost the US over 100 billion. And the global climate doesn't care what bulldozers started the chain reactions. So as you can see, what happens in Brazil doesn't stay in Brazil. It affects us. So the next time you hear about something far off bill in the foreign country with a foreign legislature behind it, ask yourself, what does it unlock? What does it ripple? Because sometimes it's the bills we don't read that cost us the most. You get that? It's the bills we don't read that cost us the most. Thanks for joining me for the sideways look. This episode means a great deal to me, and I thank you so very much for tuning in once again. Thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing. By way of mentioning, I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you because of the fact that we did reach a great milestone of reaching over 10,000 views since we launched just under a month ago. And remember, when others look straight ahead, we look sideways. Thank you for tuning in to Sideways Look.